You okay?
Yes, yeah.
You
Season, but it's worse right now.
you guys ready? I would like to call the meeting of the Planning Commission to order at 6:03 PM. Roll call, Planning Commission Secretary, may we have a roll call, please?
Certainly. Commissioner Flores,
Present.
Commissioner Cervantes,
Present.
Commissioner Ayala, Vice Chair Jimenez,
Here.
Chair Sarno.
Here. Pledge of Allegiance. I would like to call upon Commissioner Cervantes to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Place your heart, hand over your heart, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Next item, ex parte communications. This section is intended to allow all officials the opportunity to reveal any disclosures regarding site visits or ex parte communications about public hearing. Are there any ex parte communications?
None.
None.
And I have none. Next, public comments, non-agenda and non-public hearing agenda items. At this time, the general public may address the Planning Commission on both non-agenda and non-public hearing agenda items. Comments relating to the public hearing items will be heard during the public hearing. Please be aware that the maximum time allowed for members of the public to speak shall not exceed 3 minutes per speaker. State law prohibits planning commissioners from taking action or entering extended discussion on topics not listed on the agenda. Please show the courtesy of others and direct all your comments to the chairperson. Planning Commission Secretary, do we have any members of the public present that wish to speak?
We have none.
Okay. I will now close public hearing and move on to the next item. Public hearings. We will now begin with item number 1 on the agenda. At this time, I will open up public hearing at 6:05 PM. I now call upon Code Enforcement Supervisor Christine Hanning to introduce this item.
Good evening, Honorable Chairperson, members of the Planning Commission. I'm Kristen Haining with the Department of Police Services Code Enforcement Division, and I will be presenting item number 1 tonight. Before you is an amendment to ASCUP case number 19 and an update to condition of approval number 3. Walmart is located at 13310 Telegraph Road in the Gateway Plaza Shopping Center. In September 2002, sorry about that. In September 2002, Walmart applied for and obtained ASCUP 19 for the operation and maintenance of an alcoholic beverage sales use for off-site beer and wine consumption. In an effort to include distilled spirits for off-site consumption, Walmart applied for and was granted approval by the Planning Commission and City Council in December 2009. The request before you tonight is to amend ASCUP number 19 and conditions of approval number 3 in order to include ABC license type 21 that was unintentionally omitted from the current ASCUP and conditions of approval. Currently, Walmart maintains a type 21 off-sale general license with ABC. The current and previously approved condition of approval number 3 references the previous type 20 license Walmart obtained in 2002. The proposed amended condition of approval number 3 will update the condition to reference the current ABC license type 21 Walmart maintains. The proposed condition of approval number 3 reads that the type 21 alcoholic beverage control license allowing off-site sale of general sales of beer, wine, and liquor shall be restricted to the sale for consumption of alcoholic beverages off the subject site only. Considering that the building and property in which Walmart occupies is fully built and will not have any alterations or additions, staff finds and determines it is a CEQA categorically exempt project. Public hearing notices were posted in City Hall, Town Center Hall, and the library on November 26th. Notices were also sent to all property owners within a 500-foot radius. The public hearing notice was also published in the Los Cerritos Community Newspaper on November 28th. To date, staff is not aware of any public comments submitted. During the 5-year compliance review process, staff found that the Type 21 ABC license that Walmart maintains was unintentionally omitted from the current ASCUP and conditions of approval number 3. This proposed amendment will not impact the business operation, nor will there be any interior or exterior changes. This proposed amendment to ASCUP and condition of approval number 3 is so that they reflect the approved ABC license Walmart is authorized to maintain and operate by. It is recommended that the Planning Commission determine that the project is categorically exempt based off Section 15301 of CEQA guidelines, approve the amendment to ASCUP 19, subject to the conditions of approval as contained within Resolution Number 307-2025, adopt Resolution Number 307-2025, which incorporates the Planning Commission's findings and actions regarding this matter. Thank you for your time. And Walmart is here if you have any questions.
Thank you. We'll now move to commissioners' questions or comments. Does any member of the commission have any questions or comments for staff?
None.
Does any member of the commission have any questions or comments for the applicant?
None.
Okay. We will now open public comments for this item. Planning Commission Secretary, did we receive any speaking cards or written comments for this item?
We did not.
Okay. Please, no. So if there's no objections by the members of commissions, I will close the public comment for public hearing item number 1. If there's no further commissioner questions or comments, I will now close the public hearing at 6:10 p.m. May I have a motion for the approval of amendment to the ASCUP case number 19 and adopt resolution number 307-2025, which incorporates the Planning Commission's findings and actions regarding this matter?
I'll move. Oh, I'll second.
I have a first and a second. Planning Commission Secretary, please conduct the roll vote.
Commissioner Flores,
Aye.
Commissioner Cervantes,
Aye.
Commissioner Ayala, Vice Chair Jimenez,
Aye.
Chair Sarna,
All right,
passes 4-0-0, or
so ordered. There's a 14-day appeal period for wishing the appeal this matter. Thank you. Thank you very much, and thank you for your guys' business in the community. Next, item number 2 on the agenda, I will open up the public hearing at 6:11 p.m. I call upon Code Enforcement Supervisor Christian Haining to introduce this item. It's your show today.
Yes. Good evening.
Nice.
I'll also be presenting number 2. Before you tonight is an amendment to ASCUP number 68 and an update to condition of approval number 5. The Azar Event Center is located at 12215 Slauson Avenue at the northwest corner of Slauson and Chettle. In July 2016, the Azar Event Center applied for and was granted ASCUP 68 by the Planning Commission and City Council for the operation and maintenance of an alcoholic beverage sales use for on-site consumption in connection with a banquet facility. The request before you tonight is to amend ASCUP number 68 and conditions of approval number 5 in order to include ABC license types 47 and 58 that were unintentionally omitted from the current ASCUP and conditions of approval. Currently, the Azar Event Center maintains Type 47 and Type 58 licenses with ABC. The current and previously approved condition of approval number 5 references a typographical error. The proposed amended condition of approval number 5 will update the condition to reference the ABC license types currently held by the Azar Event Center. The proposed condition of approval reads that the Type 47 alcoholic beverage license allowing the on-site sale of alcoholic beverages in connection with a public eating establishment shall be restricted to the sale for consumption of alcoholic beverages on the subject site only. The use shall not sell alcoholic beverages for transport and/or for outside consumption or off the subject premises, except as legally permitted under the applicant's active Type 58 alcoholic beverage license, caterer's permit. Considering that the building and property in which the Azar Event Center occupies is fully built and will not have any alterations or additions, staff finds and determines it is a CEQA categorically exempt project. Public hearing notices were posted in City Hall, Town Center Hall, and the library on November 26th. Notices were also sent to all property owners within a 500-foot radius. The public hearing notice was also published in the Los Cerritos Community Newspaper on November 28th. To date, staff is not aware of any public comments submitted. Findings. During the 5-year compliance review process, staff found that the Type 47 and 58 ABC licenses the Azar Event Center maintained were unintentionally omitted from the current ASCUP and condition of approval number 5. This proposed amendment will not impact the business operation, nor will there be any interior or exterior changes. This proposed amendment to ASCUP 68 and condition of approval number 5 is so that they reflect the approved ABC licenses the applicant is authorized to maintain and operate by. It is recommended that the Planning Commission determine that the project is categorically exempt based off Section 15301 of CEQA guidelines. Approve the amendment to ASCUP 68 subject to the conditions of approval as contained within Resolution Number 308-2025, and adopt Resolution Number 308-2025, which incorporates the Planning Commission's findings and actions regarding this matter. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. We will now move to commissioner questions and comments. Does any member of the commission have any questions or comments from staff?
None.
No? And I have none. Does any member of the commission have any questions or comments for the applicant?
None.
And I have none. We will now open public comments for this item. Planning Commission Secretary, did we receive any speaking cards or written comments for this item?
None.
Okay. If no, the objection by members of the commission, I will close comments for public hearing item number 2. And if there's no further commission questions or comments, I will now close the public hearing at 6:15 p.m. May I have a motion to approve amendment to the ASCUP case number 68, adopt resolution number 308-2025, which incorporates the Planning Commission findings and actions regarding this matter?
I'll second.
I have a first and a second. Planning Commission Secretary, please conduct a roll call vote.
Commissioner Flores,
Aye.
Commissioner Cervantes,
Aye.
Commissioner Ayala, Vice Chair Jimenez.
Aye.
Chair Sarna.
Aye,
Passes 4-0.
so ordered. There is a 14-day appeal period for anyone wishing to appeal this matter. Move on to item number 3 on the agenda. I will open up public hearing at 6:18. I call upon the Economic Development Specialist, Claudia Jimenez, to introduce this item.
Good evening, Planning Commissioners, Legal Counsel, members of the audience, and staff. Tonight I present to you Conditional Use Permit Case Number 857, CUP 857. So the subject site is located at 14930 Marquardt Avenue in the M2 Heavy Manufacturing Zone. Its site measures about 2.45 acres and has a building size of approximately 30,833 square feet. And the applicant tonight is District Council 36, Painters Allied Trades, also known as DC 36. The photo showcases the project site at 14930 Marquardt Avenue, viewed from the corner of Marquardt Avenue and Excelsior Drive. The industrial building features a clean, well-kept exterior, complemented by attractive landscaping, mature trees, shrubs, and lush greenery along the frontage enhances the site's welcoming and professional appearances. Looking from the rear of the property, this aerial view captures the rear of the property site at 14930 Marquardt Avenue, where the property abuts the Coyote Creek bike path and railway tracks. The industrial building sits on a spacious lot with ample paved parking surrounding it, including a large loading area at the rear. The applicant is requesting approval for the establishment, operation, and maintenance of a nonprofit trade school focused on training of individuals in the installation and dismantling of exhibitions and convention displays. And these are their union members, to add. Pursuant to section of the code 155243J4 of the municipal code, businesses, technical, trade, and professional schools are permitted in the M2 zone only after issuance of a valid conditional use permit. The proposed trade school would operate in compliance with this requirement and provide specialized education and workforce development in the trade show and convention industry. District Council 36, also known as DC 36, is a long-established nonprofit labor organization founded in 1887 and serving Southern California's skilled trades workforce. Through its Joint Apprenticeship Training Center, JATC, Local 831, DC 36 provides state-supported vocational training for union apprentices in trade show installation and dismantling. Training combines hands-on instructions and industrial safety standards and professional certifications, supporting both workforce development and regional economics needs. The organization operates as a structural, safety-focused training program with predictable hours, minimal land use impacts, and long-term community benefits. The facility's training hours are Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30 p.m., with occasional Saturday sessions as needed. Daily instruction is organized into 4 two-hour class blocks, accommodating an average of 15 apprentices per class and approximately 40 apprentices per day, with the maximum capacity of 60 apprentices. Facility staffing includes 2 full-time DC 36 administrative staff, 3 full-time JATC administrative staff, and 4 full-time JATC instructors. All operating Monday through Friday, and Saturdays sessions are limited to supplemental or makeup training for up to 15 apprentices with 4 instructors at max capacity. Monthly meetings are held on the third Wednesday Wednesday evening from 5 to 7 p.m. and do not overlap with training. Parking is sufficient for apprentices, staff, meeting attendees, with carpooling encouraged to optimize space. Anticipated special events at the facility are infrequent and planned separately from regular training activities. This event includes local union elections held approximately every 3 years, council-wide elections every 4 years, and bylaws ratifications voting approximately every 5 years. Holiday gatherings may also occur on an occasional basis, and no training overlaps with these events. And attendance is limited to the same maximum capacity as daytime operation, ensuring manageable impacts and adequate parking availability. During daytime operations, the training facility accommodates a maximum of 69 individuals, which includes up to 60 apprentices along with instructors, JATC staff, and DC 36 employees. Although the facility is capable of operating at full capacity, this level only occurs approximately 4 weeks per year. For the remainder of the year, typically training activities involve 1 to 2 classes with an average of 40 participants, and all trainings concludes in the afternoon. Evening use is limited to monthly executive board and membership meetings, with attendance ranging between 12 to 45 individuals, depending on the meeting type. Special events are scheduled independently from training activities and do not exceed the same maximum capacity used for daytime training. Parking requirements. The proposed trade school is designed to fully comply with city's parking requirements for both educational and offices uses. In accordance with Section Code 155.481C5D, parking is provided at a rate of 1 space per classroom or lecture hall and 1 space for every 1.5 apprentices. Additionally, Section 155.481B3J requires parking for office areas at 1 space per 300 square feet or 1 space for 2 employees, whichever is greater. With a total of 122 parking stalls being provided, the project exceeds the city's minimum requirement, which is 69, ensuring there's sufficient parking capacity for staff, apprentices, and visitors. Again, I repeat, the required number of parking stalls is 69, they're providing 122. The proposed improvements. The project site at 14930 Marquardt Avenue features an existing 30,833 square foot industrial building and surface parking. The proposed trade school will not include interior improvements, which will include classrooms, assembly areas, offices, warehouse training areas with no exterior building modifications. The site enhancements include 122 parking stalls, fire lane circulation and improvements, a new trash enclosure, perimeter fencing, enhanced security, and ADA-compliant access. These improvements will enhance functionality, safety, and appearance while maintaining the building's architectural character and preserving the overall visual and physical qualities of the site, ensuring the community's general welfare is maintained. So before you is the existing parking layout. The existing parking layout is at the site includes a mix of 70 standard and truck stalls, but is not functional for the proposed use and does not adequately accommodate operational needs. Circulation is limited, paths of travel are unclear, and the configuration does not provide convenient or accessible access to pedestrians and vehicles. The proposed parking layout is a newly proposed parking layout has been carefully designed to optimize site functionality while ensuring safety and accessibility. The plan provides a total of 122 parking stalls, strategically arranged to maintain smooth traffic flow throughout the lot. In addition, fire lane circulation has been reviewed and approved by the fire department, ensuring emergency access is unobstructed and compliant with the safety standards. The layout also incorporates clear pathways, access points, and all areas meeting current ADA accessibility requirements. Overall, the design balances efficient parking, safety, and accessibility, enhancing the overall functionality and usability of the site. They're also incorporating new landscaping as well. So before you is the proposed floor plan and the existing floor plan. The proposed interior remodel features a thoughtful design layout to support educational, offices, and assembly uses. The plan includes a large 15,594 square foot assembly and lecture room for gatherings and presentations, a 4,460 square foot assembly power tool room for hands-on activities, and two 3,032 square foot classrooms for instructional purposes. And additionally, the remodel provides 1,450 square foot of office space to support administrative functions. And this configuration balances instructional, practical, and administrative needs, creating a functional and versatile environment for the facility. So notices were mailed to property owners within 500 feet of the site, posted at the City Hall, Town Center kiosk, and the library, and published in the Los Angeles Community newspaper on November 26th. And as of today, no inquiries or comments have been received. The proposed project is categorically exempt for additional environmental review under CEQA Section 15301, Class 1, existing facilities. The project involves the use of an existing building with no increase in the building's square footage. The proposed nonprofit trade school use is permitted within the M2 zone with the approval of a conditional use permit. As such, no further environmental analysis is required, and the project is consistent with CEQA provisions in existing facilities. Some key considerations. The proposed trade school is compatible with surrounding industrial uses. All activities include occur indoors and with controls to minimize noise, odors, and waste. Site enhancements include restriping parking, fire lane circulation, fencing, landscaping, and security improvements, improve safety and functionality while maintaining the building's characteristics. With 122 parking stalls, ADA-compliant pathways, and staggered schedules, the site accommodates staff, apprentices, and events without impacting surrounding streets. Staff finds that condition number 21 to 25 adequately addresses concerns and recommends approval, addresses parking concerns and recommends approval of conditional use permit. Staff recommends that the Planning Commission determines the project is categorically exempt under CEQA, Section 15301-1 for existing facilities. In addition, staff recommends approval of conditional use permit case number 857, subject to the conditions of approval contained in resolution number 309-2025, Exhibit A. And finally, staff recommends that the Planning Commission adopt resolution number 309-2025, which incorporates the commission's findings and actions regarding this project. And this concludes my presentation, and before you here tonight, I do have the applicants present. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now move on to commissioner questions or comments. Does any member of the commission have any questions or comments for staff?
I just have one question. It said, one parking stall per 1.5 students?
Correct, 1.5 parking stalls per student.
Oh, 1.5
1.5.
Okay, cool.
Yes. So for the 60 maximum apprentices, you're only required to have 40.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
Yep, none? And I don't have any for staff. Does any member of the planning commission have any questions or comments for the applicant? I do have a question for the applicant. If you can go back to, for future uses. First off, I want to say thank you guys for putting this in our city, because I think this is definitely a need for this community, and it's getting these younger kids to really learn how to use their hands and learn how to do something with themselves instead of, always thinking that they have to use their brains all the time. Using your hands is okay too. And, you have another true carpenter here that can do wonders with his hands and stuff like that. So I hope you guys, when you guys do get this going, that you go to the local schools and really help our local schools, but also the neighboring local schools for you guys. So I hope you guys do that. The futures, you had some things. It said, I just wanted to ask, council election or elections, what does that pertain to?
So our council elections are every 4 years.
But that's for you, that's internally for you guys.
That is for District Council 36. So this is a shared use. District Council 36 is the owner of the property. We sublease, Local 831 subleases from them.
No, I just wanted to make sure it had nothing to do with city elections or anything like to that nature. So that was my only question, sir. I really appreciate you guys, and I hope this is a very good success for you guys. And if you ever need any help in the future, please, I'd love to help.
Same. Thank you.
Thank you. Next. We will now open up public comments for this item. Planning Commission Secretary, did we receive any speaking cards or written comments for this item?
None.
Okay, if there's no objections by the members of the commission, I will close public comments and public hearing item number 3. If no further commissioners' questions or comments, I will now close public hearing at 6:31 p.m. May I have a motion and approval for CUP case number 857, adopt resolution 309-2025, which incorporates planning commission findings and actions regarding this matter?
I'll move.
I have a first and a second. Planning Commission Secretary, please conduct a roll call vote.
Commissioner Flores,
Aye.
Commissioner Cervantes,
Aye.
Commissioner Ayala, Vice Chair Jimenez,
Aye.
Chair Sarno,
Aye,
passes 4-0.
so ordered. There's a 14-day appeal period for anyone wishing to appeal this matter. Thank you. Item number 4 on the agenda, I will open up the public hearing at 6:34 p.m. I call upon Planning Commission Laura to introduce this item.
Good evening. My name is Laurel Reimer, and I'm happy to present this item before you. This is a zoning code amendment to allow for mini warehouse uses within the mixed-use TOD zone. Mini warehouse uses were first established in the city with the adoption of Ordinance 468 in 1974. Ordinance 468 added a definition for mini warehouse to the zoning code and required that mini warehouses obtain a conditional use permit before establishing the use. It also restricted the size and location of mini warehouses. Mini warehouses were limited to the M1 and M2 zones. It was restricted to parcels that were less than 2 acres in size, and it prohibited mini warehouses from being located within 1,000 feet of a residential zone, commercial zone, school, or park. And it also restricted mini warehouses, and they could not be allowed on freeways or in major or secondary highways. So there were very limited locations in which mini warehouses could be sited. On September 28th, 2017, the City Council adopted Ordinance Number 1089, which loosened those restrictions on mini warehouses. It allowed for mini warehouses on parcels up to 3 acres in size. It allowed them on properties that adjoined a freeway or had frontage on a primary or secondary highway. It also allowed for mini warehouses within 1,000 feet of a residential zone, commercial zone, school, or park. And then it also required approval of a development plan approval in addition to the conditional use permit that was originally required for mini warehouses. And then finally, it did add certain architectural and design requirements for mini warehouse buildings. So the item before you tonight is an applicant-initiated request. On August 21st of this year, the city received an application for a zoning code amendment to allow for mini warehouses within the mixed-use transit-oriented development zone. The mixed-use TOD zone, there are only 2 locations within the city. The first is at the northern part of the city, which there are 23 parcels along Washington Boulevard between Norwalk Boulevard and Broadway. And then in the central or southern part of the city, on the northeast corner of Imperial and Bloomfield, there are 9 parcels that are designated as mixed-use TOD. So this amendment would only apply to these 2, or I should say, in addition to the M1 and M2 zones, mini warehouses would now be allowed in these 2 areas of the city as well. The proposed zoning code amendment includes the following changes. So first, mixed use, within the mixed use TOD uses table of section 155.175.2, mini warehouses now be listed as a conditional use in that table. And then the zoning code has a separate section pertaining to mini warehouses, and that's 155.637. That would be modified to add a subsection for mixed-use TOD projects, and that would make them a condition. It would limit the location of mixed-use TOD mini warehouses to parcels that are directly abutting a heavy railway. It would require that mini warehouses in the MUTOD zone comply with the architectural design standards of the mixed-use zones. So that's things like setback requirement, facade design, and varied roof line. So we want to make sure that even if these uses are located in the MUTOD, it still has to meet all of the design requirements of that zone. It would also require that mini warehouses be a minimum of 3 stories within the MUTOD zone. And most mini warehouses that are built today are multi-stories, so that won't be too difficult for applicants to comply with. It would require that because the mixed-use transit-oriented development zone is meant to be more pedestrian-oriented, it will require that mini warehouses have some sort of commercial or retail component to support and contribute to a pedestrian-oriented experience. And then 2 changes would be made that would affect all mini warehouses. So for mini warehouses that have an ancillary truck rental associated with them, we were adding restrictions that those vehicles be stored in a designated parking area and be screened from view. And so that's for the TOD and for the M1 and M2 zones. And then also it will require that mini warehouses obtain a operating agreement. Staff has analyzed the requested zoning code amendment and determined that it is consistent with the goals and policies of the general plan listed here. Mini warehouse uses can be complementary to transit-oriented development in that transit-oriented development typically offers higher density housing with limited parking. So in turn, multifamily housing is more likely to be rental housing than single-family homes. And apartments offer limited storage as compared with detached housing. So there's typically not a garage or a yard in which to store possessions. So in that way, proximity to a mini warehouse can be complementary to TOD and can serve as an extension of the homes located within a mixed-use transit-oriented development zone. Additionally, mini warehouses will require approval of a conditional use permit and a development plan approval. So that will ensure that mini warehouses are attractive, comply with all development standards, and operate with minimal impact to surrounding uses. And additionally, because many warehouse developers will need to enter into an operating agreement with the city, that will ensure that there's a public benefit. The proposed zoning code amendment is exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act because it falls within the common sense exemption pursuant to CEQA guidelines section 15061B3. And that states that CEQA only applies to projects that have the potential to create a significant effect on the environment. So this zoning code amendment is an amendment to the text of the zoning code, and there's not a project associated with it at this point. So therefore, it's just a text amendment, and any future project that, any future warehouse project would need to comply with CEQA on its own. So consequently, no other environmental document is required by law. This project did require a public notice, and because it is a change to the zoning code, it required a 20-day public notice. So these notices were posted in City Hall, Town Center Hall, and the library on November 10th. And then it was published in the Los Cerritos Community Newspaper on November 14th. And staff did not receive any comments as of right now. So the recommendation before you tonight is that the Planning Commission find and determine that the project is categorically exempt from CEQA, find and determine that the proposed zoning code amendment is consistent with the goals, policies, and programs of the general plan, and adopt resolution number 310-2025, which incorporates the Planning Commission's findings and actions regarding this matter. And because this is a zoning code amendment, it will go before the planning or the City Council for final approval. So it is a recommendation that the action tonight is that the Planning Commission recommend that the City Council adopt this. So that concludes my presentation. If you have any questions.
Thank you. We'll now move to commissioners' questions or comments. Does any member of the commission have any questions or comments for staff? No. None? And I have none. We'll now open up public comments for this item. Planning Commission Secretary, did we receive any speaking cards or written comments for this item?
None.
If there's no objection by the members of the commission, I will close public comments, public hearing item number 4. If there's no further commission questions or comments, I will now close the public hearing at 6:41 p.m. May I have a motion to adopt resolution number 310-2025, which incorporates the Planning Commission findings and actions regarding this matter, recommending that the City Council approve and adopt the ordinance effectuate the proposed amendments to the text of the city zoning code. May I have a first?
I'll move.
Second? I have a first and a second. Planning Commission Secretary, please conduct a roll call vote.
Commissioner Flores,
Aye.
Commissioner Cervantes,
Aye.
Commissioner Ayala, Vice Chair Jimenez,
Aye?
Chair Sarno,
Aye.
passes 4-0.
So ordered. There's a 14-day appeal period for anyone wishing to appeal this matter. We'll now begin with item number 5 on the agenda. I will now call upon Associate Planner Alejandro De Laura to introduce this item.
Good evening, Commissioners, and happy holidays. So for today, I will be presenting on a new business item for a modification permit, and this would be to exceed the maximum allowed height for a detached accessory dwelling unit or an ADU. So some information on the location. The address for this site is 9951 Cedardale Drive. The zoning is for R1 single-family residential. The general plan use is single-family residential, and the current use is also a single-family dwelling. The applicant today is Eliana Tapia, who is here. A closer zoom in here on the location of the site. As you can see really quickly, it is an irregularly shaped lot at the edge of a cul-de-sac, and we will go into the site constraints a bit later into the presentation. But first, I want to share a little bit about their proposal. So again, this request is to exceed the maximum allowed height for a detached accessory dwelling unit or an ADU. Again, these are the granny flats, second dwelling units. And this modification case permit is specifically to construct a 480 square foot, 20-foot high ADU above an existing detached garage. The floor plan is studio style that would incorporate the living, sleeping, kitchen, bathroom areas, and a balcony. And access to the unit would be provided via an exterior staircase on the north side of the structure. The elevations will match the existing style of the house and the garage, and importantly, on the side facing east, which is closest to the adjacent neighbors, there will be no windows for additional privacy. So here's the site plan as well. A little bit more about the site here. The site does have the existing 1,333 square foot single family residence. And the existing detached 400 square foot garage is actually already within the required front yard setback, so it is legal non-conforming, and it's highlighted there in the yellow area. And the ADU is going to be constructed on top of that existing garage, and we'll dig a little bit deeper into this as well. So here's the elevation that's street facing, so this will face Cedardale Drive. And as you can see, the staircase will not be visible from the street. They have some additional architectural articulation with the window, the balcony railing towards the front as well, and the double French doors. They will not be touching the garage at all on this one. As well as the east elevation. So as I mentioned earlier, this elevation is the one that's closest to the adjacent property. So they're not going to be adding any windows there. Again, that is as a privacy measure. And this is where the access for the staircase will be. So that would be hidden by the ADU itself and the garage, and in between the main unit and the ADU itself. So some statutory background here too. So state law does require that local agencies allow the development of at least one ADU on any residentially zoned lot. And because of the physical and development constraints, the two most feasible options that we were able to identify here would be to convert the existing two-car garage or to construct on top of it. And by choosing or opting into this second-story addition, it does allow the applicant to maintain those two off-street parking spaces and not add to additional on-street parking demand. So giving some more context on the site again here. So it is adjacent to the west to the Edison transmission towers, so that kind of leads to this odd angle on the western property side. There's also some additional irregularities on the rear yard. So there's also another angle that comes along the north side, and there's also a power pole at the edge of the site. So power poles are really a hot topic conversation right now because of the wildfires in SoCal. So Edison has given additional guidance that new structures should be at least 6 feet away from these power poles. So that really adds additional site limitations to their ability to develop in the rear. Additionally, there's an existing pool in the rear yard on the western side. And again, this is on a cul-de-sac, so this does add an additional layer of complexity for that sort of bulb shape along the front yard. And something that's important to note here is that the garage is built on the same building line as the adjacent properties. So this isn't like extra encroaching, this is like within the same line as the other properties. And in fact, there is, as identified here, a couple properties down, another second-story addition. So it really just is this sort of cutout from the cul-de-sac that is adding this sort of additional layer of complication, but this would be in line with the existing neighborhood. So again, just putting all those all together just to show that there are a number of odd parts to this parcel that add to the complexity of choosing an appropriate placement for the ADU. And just a quick scale diagram here. So the detached ADU regulation in the city is to allow a maximum height of 16 feet. For properties that are within a half mile of a major transit corridor, which is actually a majority of the properties that are in that area, this property is just outside of that, you are allowed to build up to 20 feet. So if this property was, a little bit closer to one of these transit corridors, they would have actually been able to do the exact same build by right. And importantly, this proposal does fit within the maximum R1 zone standards, which is 25 feet, which is closer to what you would see for like a 2-story residential home. So even though they were proposing to exceed the 16-foot maximum, at the 20 feet that they're proposing, it is in line with what would be typical for this type of construction. As for the environmental review, staff does believe the project is exempt from CEQA under section 15303, which is class 3 for new construction or conversion of small structures. And this section specifically identifies second dwelling units as a specific exempt project under this section. A hearing notice was sent out to the 5 adjacent property owners. These do not require a public hearing, so these are courtesy notices to the adjacent neighbors to let them know about the project. And to date, staff has not received any comments regarding this proposal. So wrapping things up here with some key considerations again, we do have to comply with state requirements, which does ask us to look for and provide feasible opportunity for at least one ADU to be constructed on a site. The site constraints, which include the irregular lot shape, the pole, the existing pool, do limit the amount of alternative placements for the ADU, making the construction above the garage the most practical solution. And with this project, they would also be preserving the existing garage, which again which avoids increasing on-street parking demand. And ultimately, it is compatible with the neighborhood. The height increase does remain consistent within the underlying zone height and remains consistent with the surrounding scale and character of the properties. And with that, staff does recommend that the commission find and determine that the project is categorically exempt under section 15303, class 3, and to approve mod case 1370 subject to the conditions as stated within the attached resolution, and to adopt resolution number 311-2025, which incorporates the Planning Commission's findings and actions regarding this matter. That concludes my portion of the presentation, and the applicant is also here if you have additional questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Does any commissioner have any questions for staff? None.
On the east elevation, and this is probably minor for the magnitude of this project, but I just noticed like a air conditioning condenser. Is there sufficient, is it a hazard for whoever's going to live in that ADU? Is there enough space to get by, or does that need to be relocated?
Yeah, so mechanical placement isn't final. Right here, we would look at that with the plan check, but we can verify that when we look at that portion of the plan check.
All right, yeah, that's my only question. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. That's a good note, though. Thank you.
I just have a question. Can you go back to the height requirement? So they're proposing 20,
Correct.
but we would allow them to go 25, correct?
So 25 would be if they were, so our code specifically has 16 feet as a maximum for ADUs in particular. So if it was like an addition to their house, they could have gone up to 25. But since it's specifically for an ADU, the maximum is 16. It's a quirk in our code, honestly.
The maximum 16, but that's not on top of a roof. That's based on the garage. But now if it's a 2-story ADU, what's the maximum? So 20 would be the maximum?
Correct. Yeah.
So if you have a 8-foot garage, then now you're only going to be able to get, I just don't understand what the difference is if they went 5 more feet, because it would still be conforming to the neighborhood because of the corner house that has a 2-story. So I would just think
They could go to 25.
I would just,
opted to
I,
go
it's
this
just
way.
something that, for the future, for us to see, but I don't know what the difference would be in 5 feet, but you would get a lot more out of especially if you're gonna park cars, and if they're gonna keep the garages for parking, a truck that's able to fit in a garage is a higher, ceiling height than,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so the 20 was kind of a recognition of like the mod requests, right?
Yeah.
So they were, I think it was partially to accommodate to the fact that they are
I was
exceeding
just-
the general requirement.
I was
yeah.
just asking, because I don't know what the difference between a 20 and a 25, if it's going up 5 feet, you're already a two-story and you're conforming with the surrounding areas, because you just pointed out that a two-story house is probably at the 25 feet, so it would even look more in line with everything else. So that's just a question for that was just something for myself. So, does any commissioner have any questions? Oh,
I have another, oh, go ahead.
I was just asking, so you're saying within a half mile of the major transit corridor, you could go 20, right?
Exactly.
So that
yeah.
is the average, 20 is the average. It's just where they're located, it's 16.
But because they're going on top of a garage, I'm saying the max height that we have allowed is, for a two-story place, is 25 feet.
Yeah, so, yeah, because it's a detached structure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I get it. Okay.
How far outside of that half mile is it?
It's like a quarter-ish of a mile at the most away
Yeah.
from it. Yeah.
And then can you go back to the east elevation again? I just have one more question.
Yeah.
So on that elevation, like the roof line on the right side overhangs more, is there going to be post or is it going to be cantilevered? Has it been approved by building already?
So building has screened it. It hasn't been approved yet, but yeah, there is a small cantilever, and also that overhang is more so to accommodate the staircase. So as you're walking up, if it's raining or sun or what have you, you're kind of protected as you're walking up the
Yeah,
staircase.
and it makes sense, right?
Yeah. It's kind of like an extended porch almost. Yeah.
If
Same
somebody
idea.
wouldn't have called me a carpenter, I wouldn't have asked, but thank you.
I would like to call upon the applicants, if they wish to speak, approach the podium if you guys want. If you want to, you don't have to, but if you'd like to. If you don't, do you want to say anything?
No, I just, well, yeah.
Come on up.
I know that it's being presented as an ADU, but that wasn't the intention. And these guys have been great working with me to try to get this project going. So I just want to say that. It's not intended as an ADU, but because of the building laws, that's how we have to present it.
All right, no problem. We'll now open up public. Nobody had any questions for the applicant, right? We'll now open up public comments for this item. If anyone from the audience wishes to speak, please approach the podium. If there are no further questions or comments, do we have a motion to approve the requested mod, case number 1370, adopt resolution number 311-2025, which incorporates the Planning Commission's findings and actions of this matter?
I'll second.
We have a first and a second. Planning Commission Secretary, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Flores,
Aye.
Commissioner Cervantes,
Aye.
Commissioner Ayala, Vice Chair Jimenez,
Aye?
Chair Sarno,
Aye.
passes 4-0.
So ordered. There is a 14-day appeal period for anyone wishing to appeal these matters. Good luck on your build. Next is presentations. Update on conditional use permit case number,
Chair, there's the consent calendar,
did I go too far?
just above the presentations.
Oh, my bad. Oh, yeah. All matters listed under the consent calendar are considered to be routine. Any consent items a planning commissioner wishes to discuss should be designated at this time. All other items may be approved in a single motion. For consent items numbers 6, 7, 8, 9, is there a motion and a second for the approval of the consent items?
I'll second.
We have a first and a second. Planning Commission Secretary, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Flores,
Aye.
Commissioner Cervantes,
Aye.
Commissioner Ayala, Vice Chair Jimenez,
Aye.
Chair Sarno,
Aye.
passes 4-0.
So ordered. There's a 14-day appeal period for anyone wishing to appeal these matters. Presentations, updated on conditional use permit case number 641 and zone variance case number 68. I would like to call upon Community Development Director Kwana Nijan to present item number 10.
Good evening, Commissioners. So before you today, I have a quick update on conditional use permit 641 and zone variance case number 68. Quick background, back in June of 2008, the CUP and zone variance was approved. CUP specifically for open storage yard use and for a RV storage facility specifically. The zone variance was simply to allow for the use because it was on an industrial lot not fronting a public street, as well as to allow open storage on a lot that exceeded 1 acre. A total of 4 time extensions have been granted to date, just to basically keep the CUP zone variance active. Then in February of 2024, an amendment was approved for both CUP 641 and zone variance 68. The amendment to the CUP was to allow for open storage of shipping containers, and the zone variance was to essentially allow for the paving to be crushed gravel as opposed to standard paving as required by our code. And landscaping requirements was also modified. It didn't really make sense to require landscaping in this lot that's not seen or viewed from the public. Our code requires that a portion of the parking lot does have landscaping, but it just didn't make sense for this case. Really quickly, a couple of photographs. Earlier this year, staff noticed a significant number of trucks parked on site. This is a couple of photographs taken of the site on October 2nd, 2025. Continuous code enforcement efforts occurred throughout the last 2 months. As you can see here, photographs of the site in November. Although there's not as many trucks on site, there was still a number of equipments and vehicles and containers and whatnot still on the site. And I'm happy to report that as of November 26, we successfully, through code enforcement efforts, was able to get the site fully cleared and ready for grading. This is a panoramic shot that I took. So contrary to what Vince has always said, as you can see from the shadow, I'm definitely taller than him.
You blend right in with the wires.
So I would say we can't take credit for the cleanup efforts. All the credit goes to code enforcement. As you can see, there's a total of 5 citations to date that was issued to the property owner. The case was also referred to the city prosecutor in November, and through those efforts, was only the reason why we were able to successfully get the site cleared up and ready to go. Currently, to date, all elevation points have been completed. Base material was delivered last Friday, and sandbag barriers were installed today, with the first city inspection scheduled for Thursday of this week. This is actually an aerial shot of the property as it sits today. We had a drone go out there and take drone videos of the site. This is taken looking north of the site. And I guess that's the base gravel material. And not as clear, but this is a photo taken looking south of the site. Just want to point out that although they are proceeding with grading and moving forward with the CUP was for containers. And as far as we know, it will continue to be for containers. If the applicant intends to utilize the site for anything other than containers, they will need to come back before you to amend the CUP to specifically address whatever other items they plan to store if it's outside of containers. So that concludes my report. Yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any
Can you
questions?
can you click back to that picture before? Has code enforcement seen all that graffiti on there? Look at that. Right, you said today.
I believe
as
it's
it says,
art.
right? Art? Oh, okay.
Good job, Joe.
Look at all the graffiti left everywhere. Everyone's got their name on the building.
I think one of them says Joe.
Yeah, but that was there before the law was.
Nobody has any questions or comments?
You said originally it was for RV storage?
Correct. That was
Is
a
that,
decade ago at least.
okay, so they
Yes.
removed that?
Yes, so the amendment that was done in 2024 changed it from RV storage to container storage.
So it's only containers?
Containers only at
And
this point, yes.
whoever's leasing it knows that?
Correct. Well, as far as we know, there is no tenant. They vacated the tenant they had there recently that was basically doing the illegal activity.
So it's ready for use again?
Correct.
They're
And-
getting it. So all the base, everything that's in that picture, well, now all the gravel will go out, and so it'll be a
So the new
paved area.
tenant will know
yes.
that they can only use it for containers, not for RVs?
They don't have a tenant yet, as far as we know. They're shopping the site, and at that point, depending on who the tenant is, if it's not a container storage tenant, they'll have to come back to amend the CUP.
No further questions? Thank you, sir. Thank you. Next, zoning code education series, general plan versus zoning code. I'd like to call upon Assistant Director of Community Development, Vince Velasco, to present item number 11.
Good evening, Commissioners. I felt like it was easier to talk to you face to face. All right, so this presentation kind of derived from the feedback we received at our joint study session for the zoning code update last month. So staff has created this zoning code education series, and we intend to provide a brief background on various topics related to the zoning code update as the agenda, weighs out. So on nights like this, where it's a little longer, we'll have a shorter topic, and when the agenda is light, we'll try to hit a heavier topic like parking. So just to give you an overview, I'll go over, a reminder of what a general plan is versus the zoning code, how they differ, how they must align, what the zoning code update will achieve, and the next step of the update process. So again, just a reminder, the general plan is the city's long-term vision, looking about 20 to 30 years out as a policy document. The state allows for a maximum of 4 amendments of the general plan per calendar year. Again, it establishes the goals and policies. It is again required by state law as the constitution for the land use and the mandatory elements such as land use, housing, circulation, open space, etc. It guides all major planning and development decisions. So just to remind you of what a land use map would look like, industrial, light industrial, et cetera, and policies that you might see you will see in the general plan. For example, policy land use 1.3, which is the downtown, and to create a thriving downtown district that supports a complementary mix of residential and non-residential uses, provides community gathering spaces. So again, these are the vision, setting those goals and policies of what the city wants to see and develop throughout the city. Versus the zoning code. The zoning code is the city's primary land use regulation. It implements the general plan at the property-to-property level, provides precise enforceable rules, and defines things such as allowable uses, development standards, and those are things such as height, setback, floor area ratio, parking, landscaping, etc. Also defines the site development procedures, design requirements, and objective standards, and is used daily by staff, developers, and the public. So part of the zoning code update, it does not include a zoning map. So we're not rezoning any of the properties that exist in the city. What we're looking at specifically with the zoning code update is the zoning code, the allowable uses, the standards in which you can develop. So this is an image of basically what those rules and regulations would enforce. Again, the building height, the massing, the setbacks, how far from the property lines you can develop, how high you can go, how much floor area of the lot you can cover with a structure. And those are all outlined within the zoning code, those specific, the specific language of the zoning code. And then the relationship, again, the general plan is the vision, right? So you see this paragraph that emphasizes what industrial land use in the city should encompass. And then on the right, you see the zoning code, the implementation tool. And here is a list of allowable industrial uses within the M2 zone that, again, implements the vision of that general plan. So just as a complete reminder what the zoning code update will achieve, we want to streamline the development review process, engage the community in a robust outreach process, modernize the code to make it more user-friendly. So images like you see on the right that articulate and illustrate what the zoning code is trying to achieve so that it's easy to use. And what's next in the process? Again, more education series. We want to make this easy for everyone to understand and collect that feedback. Provide information of the project on the project's website and through our social media channels. And lastly, we have workshop number 3, which will be Wednesday, March 18th, 2026 in the city's library at 6 p.m. And this will be the last workshop that we have before the draft zoning code is presented to the public in early summer. That concludes my presentation. If you have any questions, please let me know.
Anybody have any questions? None? We have no questions. Thank you, Vince, for making it painless. Thank you, sir. Any staff have any announcements? No? Bueller?
Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, and best of all, Happy New Year.
Yes, Merry Christmas, but we come back January 26th. So Merry Christmas to everyone, and I hope everyone has a great holiday.
Happy holidays to everybody. And great job to the code enforcement. Great job. Thank you.
I looked at the other picture, the whole building is.
This meeting is now adjourned at 7:10 p.m. The next meeting, Planning Commission meeting is set for January 26th, 2026. Thank you, guys.